Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Collingwood Conversations. If you haven't, be sure to check out our interviews with former players such as Shane Woden and Ben Reid. We've also interviewed Steve Simons, the AFLW coach. So if you haven't already, pause this episode right now, give us a follow, give us a subscribe and a thumbs up, and also go and check out those interviews if you want to hear about the 2010 grand final and the 02 grand final and everything in between, and also what it's like to win a Brownlow. But right now, we've got our round recap and our round preview. So, first of all, round recap. We got the chocolates again, lads. Fucking nice. My quick 2 cents worth. Ginnivan backed it up. As we said last week on the episodes that he had to, and he did. He honestly, he got a literal goal of the year contention. So you can't really say he didn't back it up. Like, honestly, well done, Ginnivan. We fucking love you, mate. I'll pass it off to Huddo for his comprehensive Stubby Club round recap. But before he goes on, I've got a big announcement. Stubby Club are actually offering investment opportunities, starting as little as $250 all the way up to $3,000. Whatever your budget is, you, the public, can also be a part owner of the Stubby Club. Be sure to go over to their website. The deadline is in 4 to 5 weeks, and you can grab your slice, a piece of Stubby Club. Anyway, go ahead, Huddo, with your Stubby Club round recap.
Okay, so obviously we took on Gold Coast, and we said sort of in some of the previews that it was very important we got off to an early jump like we had been, which we did. Very important we neutralised.
Did we though?
Miller, which
the first 2 goals were not from Collingwood.
7 goals. Yeah, it was a bit shaky to begin with, but we kicked 7 goals in the first 4.
Yeah,
you can't complain with that.
No, you can't. I was just shit staring.
Right. One of the big ones was Toot Miller try and curb his influence. I don't think we did that quite well.
No.
Break even in the ruck against Jared Witts. Okay, we didn't break even in the ruck, but our on-ballers actually read his ruck work very well. One of the big ones on that, Begg's first game, very good, promising signs. I'm just going to say it right. He's not a ruckman. He's a metre 97. He is a good, honest player, though. And he did some good things in the forward line.
I think he's a centre-half forward or a centre-half back.
Exactly. Yeah. Think like Lee Brown, a pinch hit in the ruck when you need it.
As
opposed to Mason Cox, who can go in the ruck and be in the ruck.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you don't expect him to win every single contest in the ruck on his debut. But, mate, fuck, if you're groomed as a ruckman.
I will say this too, especially against the bloke who's 15 centimetres and 20 kilos bigger than him.
Yeah.
You're not going to win many of them,
around
especially around the ground. So, no, I like Begg's debut. He did some good things, and he looked like he knew what he was doing. He wasn't a sort of...
He didn't look out of place.
Yeah. One big problem we have is now becoming the back line. And a lot of people have singled out Jack Madgen, and I'm going to say it's not just Jack Madgen.
It's just
the back line in general.
Mm-hmm.
We are playing far too loose, especially against key forwards.
Yes.
On the turnover,
don't get me wrong, I'm sorry, but Madgen was woeful against Casbolt. You cannot... His individual game, granted he got his second goal, but, mate, other than that, he was pure dog shit. I'm sorry, Jack, but he Jack Madgen. But he was.
Yeah, a couple of bad free kicks.
Let me put it this way. When Levi caught the ball, where the fuck was Jack when Jack was on the field?
Exactly.
Where was he?
But this is a problem that's now coming across all our key defenders. We're playing far too loose because they all want to be the intercept defender.
Yeah.
I think we need to nominate one intercept defender. We've got Pendles in the back line. He shouldn't be there on solely defensive because that's not what he's there for.
I reckon we should easily get Darcy Moore.
Good job.
I think Darcy Moore, last week wasn't his best game. Anzac game was a great game, but I think, as you said, we should isolate one key intercept defender, which I don't think should be Moore, but I think Moore should definitely have the clearance, punch the ball out of the mark attempt type defender is what he should be for.
Definitely. I'd actually like to see Kleiner as the intercept defender.
Yeah,
he reads the ball well, and he's a really good user.
His IQ, I know Isaac Kleiner, his nickname is IQ, but his IQ of football is fucking phenomenal.
It's amazing. Yeah. Okay, and the last point I wanted to bring up is the forward line.
Yep.
A lot of people talking about, we're not very good we're the 4th ranked side as far as points for. We're equal with Geelong on an amazing number, 666.
Yes.
Forward line is doing really well with a makeshift forward line. Checkers is great value, 2 goals a game as an average. He's up there with everyone else in the league as far as key forwards.
He still can't crack the 5 goals though, but I think he might sometime soon.
I know. It's coming. It's got to come eventually. Ginnivan at his feet, mopping up everything. And a lot of people talked about McCreary looked like he had a down day.
I like his pressure.
That's what he's in the team for. He's not in the team to kick 3 goals. He's not in the team to get 20 possessions. He's in the team to lock the ball in the forward line, which he does tremendously.
Yes,
I think the Brown brothers get a lot of a knock as well. They did very well at that as well. A lot of good tackling pressure.
Yes.
Overall, a really good game. Just a few things to tidy up.
And the Dacos brothers had a great, outstanding game each.
Yeah,
granted, Nick didn't do too well on when he's doing a passing kick, but
he had a down day.
Already got lofty
had
standards,
18 touches. I mean, I wish I could have a down day like that.
Right, absolutely. And I'll pass it off to Shipper for the round preview coming up against Richmond. Take it away, Shipper.
Yeah, the round preview, I'm not really sure what to make of Richmond. I feel like they're a side we match up pretty well against. I'll sort of say their form's a bit patchy. I'm not convinced they're sort of back to the dynasty Tigers of 2017 to 2021, but obviously the
2018
Mason Cox inspired loss. But I can't tell if they're close to the team that had all the losses last year. I'm sure they looked good last week, but they played the waffle. The West Coast are so undermanned, and they're playing quite dispirited as well. So
they've got Dustin Martin, but how good is he going to be when he's back?
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's professional, but he's coming back from a massive grief. Yeah,
it's not going to be superstar Dusty that we're used to, where we hope not anyway.
Well, let's put it this way.
Very bad for us if he did come in and be
I hope the players of the team prepare for for superstar Dustin. That way they can, play on him as if he were. So go ahead.
Yep. I think I mentioned to you guys I was surprised at the odds that the bookies had us on. It was quite big outsiders at the start of the week. I'm not a big betting man, so I haven't seen if that's come in at all. But personally, I'd have it relatively close.
Oh, sorry, 250.
Still out of 250. That's crazy. I quite like us going into this game. I think it can be a real sort of season-defining win if we can get this and go 5-3. And a young group, you can really build confidence, and I think there's a good feeling around the club. I think there's a lot of optimism, and I think my concern going in was what we were going to get out of the young guys. So to have Ginnivan take this massive step up, and McCreary and some of the other younger guys. I'm quite into my football fantasy super coach, and often I sort of look at the bottom 5 or 6 and see if they're contributing. So kind of around 30 or 40, 50s a contribution for like the kind of fringish players, sort of 17 to 20 on the list. So I feel like we've been getting really good contributions, and I think that's a big sign of our progress so far. The only losses, I mean, apart from the West Coast debacle, I'm just going to wipe that from my memory, have been against Geelong and Brisbane that are, I think, going to be thereabouts the end of the year. Maybe not Geelong, but I think that Brisbane are definitely top 4. So
absolutely.
These kind of similar ranked teams, if we can pick up enough wins and get some real momentum, and the young kids can sort of keep growing and improving, who knows the ceiling on this year. So looking forward to the game.
Yes. Huddo, mate. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So who would you guys say is the player that, if you had to pick 1 or 2 players for Richmond, Collingwood need to focus on the most?
Oh, I thought you were going to say if you could have them on your team, because no.
Jack Rewalt.
You can't go past Rewalt. You can't go past
two.
Rewalt. Obviously, Martin, because even though it's his first game back, and you got to treat him like the superstar that he is. You need to prepare for him to be on his game, even though he probably won't be. You need to prepare for if he is. So I reckon Dusty, Rewalt, and maybe Rioli. I reckon.
Okay.
By Rioli, I mean both Riolis.
I'm going to throw another name out there.
Shea Bolton.
Oh,
I knew that was going to be. I knew.
You look at his season. He's
Yeah.
above average and elite in near on every category.
Yes. Yes.
Like
We
Tuke
definitely
Miller,
need to shut
once
him
again,
down.
it's another guy we need to. You don't necessarily have
Contain.
to shut him down,
No, just gotta contain him.
run with him, contain him. Yeah. He kicks a couple of goals. He boots it in the forward line, like to go. He's attacking, he's strong. And yet, obviously, the other big one, key forwards, we've got to man him up. We can't play him as loose. I mean, we got lucky last week, Casbolt and Scholl. If we play Rewalt and Lynch that loose, one of them's going to kick 8.
Yeah, maybe
I mean, the only reason why Casbolt
had
didn't
8
kick
shots,
8
didn't
is
he?
because
4-4.
Casbolt kicks horribly. Exactly, yeah.
He's never
Casbolt
kicked
is
5 in his
Casbolt,
career.
yeah.
In a game, he's never kicked 5.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah, same as Checkers, yeah. And one of the other ones, okay, he's not going to smash us around the ground, but once again, in the ruck, we need to break even with Nankervis. Now, I personally think that Darcy Cameron did a really great job last week.
Yes.
Really good early on, a really good, strong target, and there's good signs there that he can keep doing that and improve upon that.
Absolutely. So, guys, now is the time for the round preview predictions, where we give our team to win and the margin. Don't have to give an exact score because fuck predicting that. So I'll go first. Mine is obviously Collingwood because can't tip against them right now given their in form. I think Collingwood by 1 to 16 points, depending on if Dusty's on and if Shea Bolton's on, in the sense of on their game. And I'll take it over to Huddo because Shipper started that last segment. Huddo, who have you got to win and by what margin?
So I got the Pies winning. I think it's going to be about a 3, whichever side wins, probably around about a 3-goal margin.
Yeah.
I could see it getting out the most.
They're
just two sides that are very similar at the moment, very similar spots on the ladder, point scoring, defending. Yeah. So it's going to be one of them games where it's just, it's not going to be Collingwood are going to come out, jump out to a 50-point lead and annihilate them. And I don't think it's going to happen the other way as well.
Absolutely.
I think Richmond will probably have a bit of a down week after their WAFL hit out last week.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Shipper, obviously it's your turn. Who do you think is going to win and by what margin?
Yeah, I've got the Pies. I'm pretty confident. I don't know if the head thinks, I don't know, Richmond probably on paper and potentially most experts, the bookies seem to think that they've got us covered. But I think we'll get the Chockies. I think it'll be pretty close. My prediction's 9 points.
Yeah, nice.
Something nice and precise there.
Yeah, that is very nice and precise. I love it. Yeah. Very nice. And obviously that leads into our final segment of the episode. It's back this week. Last week it wasn't in here because Huddo had fuck all for us. This week it's back. It's Huddo's Magpies history. Tell us, give us your 2 or 3 facts. This is what we've got time for, mate.
All right. Okay, so last week, a bit hard to find a Queensland connection and not much history between the Gold Coast, but Pies and Richmond have a lot of history.
They have a very rich history.
Yeah, exactly. The one I'm going to go for is we played each other in 6 grand finals. We're leading that one 4-2, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Big one I'm going to talk about is the 1927 grand final. Collingwood's first of 4 in a row. Yes. For those in Queensland who think Brisbane have won the most in a row, 4 is a bigger number than 3.
Yes.
Just need to put that out there.
Yes.
Okay, so 1927, Collingwood, 12 goals, 13-25, defeated Richmond, 1 goal, 7-13. This game is very significant for a few reasons. A, it's the first of 4 in a row we won. It's also the lowest score, not only the lowest scoring grand final, the lowest scoring final in history.
Mm-hmm.
There's some very big reasons behind that. Lunchtime came around and so did the rain, and half of the MCG was underwater.
Nice.
The VFL had a policy at the time where they couldn't cancel games afternoon, so it was too bad, so sad. Carry on and play.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure going into that game, Gordon Coventry was on 95-ish goals, something like that. He was pretty close to 100. Kicked the 2 goals for Collingwood. Couldn't get him over the line to get 100. Don't worry. I think he went on to do it the next year.
Yes.
I actually have a match report here from the Argus by Onlooker. And one of the things I wanted to bring up from that is so Collingwood on Saturday won the league football premiership for 1927 by defeating Richmond in a small scoring game on the Melbourne ground by 12 points. Worse weather conditions could not have been imagined. The rain early in the morning was followed by heavier rain soon after lunch. And it did not cease throughout the match. Before the ball was bounced, the centre was a quagmire. There were deep pools on the outer wing where the cricket practice wickets are pitched, and on the wings, it was almost equally impossible to keep a footing. Some of the falls were amusing from the spectators' point of view, but they were exceedingly uncomfortable for the players, who were quickly wet through. Kicking along the ground was adopted from the outset, this method being used almost as often as attempting to pick the ball up and punt it. So that's how bad of a game it was.
Yeah, wow.
A few of the other things he observed in the game, there was a lot of niggle early on that did not cease. However, there was no reports.
Okay,
so
fair enough. It was a different
maybe
game,
sometimes
different
when
time
all
back
those,
then.
when those older blokes talk about how much tougher it was back then, maybe they've got a bit of a point.
Yes, no, absolutely. And we've only got time for one more bit of history, so go ahead with what.
Okay, so the only part I was going to bring up about that was the attendance, 34,551.
Wow.
So not a great crowd, especially for the MCG. And the
think about it this way: the AFL was really only VFL was only about 50 years old at that point.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's
but
amazing.
They had averaged larger crowds before then, but obviously the weather was a big turn off.
Yeah.
And the gate takings were £1,778 and 12 9.